What is up, my fellow ghostly monsters? I'm sure you're just as excited as I am. I'm so excited I can't speak. And we're gonna be talking about another paranormal vlog today, and as you can see, it's talking about Bonnie Springs. I'm sure a lot of you have no idea what the hell Bonnie Springs is. And if you live in Vegas, it's pretty much 50-50 if you know about Bonnie Springs anyway. Bonnie Springs is just a tiny little town, I guess you could say. I don't even really know exactly what it is. All I know is if you take Charleston just all the way down, you'll eventually get there. It's really seriously just a tiny little area just outside of Las Vegas. Every Halloween they do a Bonnie Screams thing, and it's cute. The whole point of this story is that my paranormal group that I was in, we did an investigation there. And it was not during the whole Halloween season or anything. They had legitimate paranormal claims, so they wanted us to investigate. And we were not the first or only paranormal group to investigate there. There were, I think I want to say 5 others, but it's probably more like 3 others besides the group that I was in. Here's the thing about Bonnie Springs. It's really not a real town, and because of it, there is a lot of fake cowboy type setups, and they have done a lot of filming there. Local car commercial place used it as a car commercial filming area before. I believe they used it as for a small scene in a movie at one point. I'm not exactly sure on that. I do know from Ghost Adventures they use that area as like a little filming area as well. Ghost Adventures did do a paranormal investigation there. I'll get that towards the end. So rewind all the way back to when I was in the paranormal group, we were asked to investigate there. They gave us a little tour and they told us about the claims that were happening there, and I believe this was before I started my whole thing of not wanting to know beforehand, so it was alright by me to know what was going on. The claims that were happening seemed very explainable. It didn't add up to the history of the place. Like I said, a lot of it is it's a fake setup. It's a fake old western setup. It's not real. It's not like actual preserved western stuff from like the late 1800s, early 1900s or anything like that. It's very fake. So the claims that they were having and everything, I was very confused, and I was very skeptical. I'm skeptical anyway when I go into a paranormal investigation, but when it comes to this particular one, I was extremely skeptical. I was very much like,
I wasted all my time to come all the way out here for ghost stories on a fake cowboy lot. I want to go home.
So that was pretty much my reaction to the whole thing, because I seriously felt like I was wasting my time being there. I was like, all of this is very easily explained. I went ahead and stayed. As much as I hated being there because I thought it was stupid, I thought it was entirely lame, I was like, you know what, this is just absolutely retarded, but whatever, fine. I'll stay, I'll do this investigation, I'll be able to write this off as nothing and go home. There's a bit of a wax museum, I guess you could say, that's there. They have a lot of taxidermy stuff and a couple of figures. I don't know if it's still there or not, because when I went there, they were very decrepit and the taxidermies were mulching. It was just quite horrific in the state of these taxidermy figures, which I was just like, oh, this is great. We go through this museum thing, which is quite fascinating in itself, because not only of the figures and everything, but the layout is just, it's kind of confusing. You kind of feel like you're getting lost in there, but you're not, and it's a little weird. That being said, there was also a restaurant area that we weren't really allowed to investigate in because it was all locked up. Nobody had the keys to it, and the person that did have the keys to it said no, that they were not going to go over there just to unlock some doors for a ghost group. So we were kind of SOL on that part, but we went ahead and investigated further. There was also an open schoolhouse kind of thing. That was just kind of stupid. It was basically just a replica of what an old Western classroom looked like, and it was cute, and there was claims of a little girl that liked to play there and everything, because there was a little merry-go-round that was outside, and I think a swing, I can't remember. There was something else there. I just remember the merry-go-round because there was claims with the merry-go-round, and it was that tends to spin and move on its own. And the thing about it is extremely heavy, and it is extremely hard to move by any means. So for it to move on its own was just entirely creepy for the entire staff. So I thought that was really cool, and I was like, well, we'll see. It's not gonna happen, but we'll see. Again, I was very skeptical. We moved on from there. We went into the Opera House. Again, it's just a replica of what a theater room would look like back in the old Western times, which I actually thought was quite neat because, well, for the main paranormal reasons, but it was neat in its setup. You could almost get the feel of like the tables that would be in there, the piano, the upright piano that would have been in there, and like the feel of like the can girls that would have been in there, or like, you know, made up opera singers or whatever that would have been in there for however length of time. And it was kind of neat. It was cute and it was cool in a weird way. But instantly we all had like a really weird feeling about the place. That particular building structure or whatever. But it was just really neat that we all had like a really interesting feeling as soon as we walked in there. My good friend Christy, who I've mentioned before, she was our photographer. I, of course, was doing the camcorder, the recording of it. She was doing just pictures. I was also doing audio recorder and EMF meter. You know, of course, you know, when you're a paranormal investigator, you're kind of like everything. Everybody has like their own meters. Everybody has flashlights. Everybody has something. It's a group effort, and it also helps confirm paranormal findings if like more than one person has the same thing. We all had so many things. It wasn't just me having a camcorder, audio recorder, EMF meter, flashlight. We all did, just to get that out there. Back to what I was saying before was Christy had the camera and she was taking pictures of our group leader as well as the guy who he was interviewing. I can't remember who the guy was. All I know is that he worked on that property, and I don't know if he was sharing a paranormal experience or not. He could have been, because that's probably why we were in that room. He was the one that was giving us the tour. Our founder was interviewing him for some reason, like just asking him very interview type questions, and Christy was taking pictures and she just started like snapping. And you knew when Christy started just constantly taking pictures and just like moving her camera around, she got something. So I come over and she shows me and she's like, look at this, and it's like a blue light that just was wrapping around the two of them, and it was interesting. It was really fascinating. And there were no bugs in there. It was warm. It wasn't hot. I do remember it was warm that day. It wasn't hot, and when the sun went down, it got really cool. There was no bugs. That was one thing I do remember, because I remember thinking how weird it was because there were animals all around. There was even a little pond and everything. There weren't a lot of bugs, if any at all. Like, it was very bare, which was quite interesting. We knew it wasn't a bug. None of us heard like a like you would have heard, especially in the size that it was in the picture. There was no indication that it was a bug at all, even especially in the photograph, because there was no shape. It was just a straight up blue orb. What also was interesting in that whole experience and everything was supposedly there was an EVP that was caught by the school area. I don't really remember too much of what was going on there because there was a lot going on personally for me. What was fascinating though was we had an opportunity to go back, but with the Ghost Adventures group. They wanted to, you know, have somebody kind of guest star, you know, who had been there before, who had had the experiences there before. And I was asked to be a part of it, but I had nobody to watch my oldest at that time. And at that time, she was my only child, so I had nobody to watch her, so I couldn't go and be a part of it. But Christy was, and she was on that show and everything, and she was the one that had the scratches on her back. I thought was incredibly creepy and incredibly cool at the same time. I felt so bad for her, but I was just like, I'm so jealous. I know I'm weird, but you're watching me, so you're weird. You're weird too. So I found out about all that. I thought it was really cool and really neat. And then we had an opportunity. I don't know if it was before the Ghost Adventures or after. Can't really quite remember too much on that. But we did have an opportunity to host for the Bonnie Screams event for the Halloween time that they host out there. I don't know if they still do that now, because earlier this year, Bonnie of Bonnie Springs did pass away, which was really sad news and really quite devastating when it came to like Las Vegas history, because I mean, Bonnie Springs is like it's a big deal to Vegas and the history of Vegas and everything. So it was quite fascinating. When it comes to why there was paranormal activities going on this property, even though it was a fake set, I believe it was the Paiutes there's theories that they lived out there for a certain amount of time, because there has been paranormal things just happen out there. Crazy paranormal things happen. The only link is of the Paiutes. That's the link that a lot of people are connecting when it comes to the paranormal investigation there. They think that maybe during their travels they had people of their tribe die, and so they were forced to bury them there. Something happened. The only consistent ones that I've heard were in the Opera House and at the schoolyard, where supposedly a little girl liked to play there. That theory actually belongs to, you know, with the Paiutes again. Like, maybe there was a young girl that died. She just liked that area because it was a play area. Anyway, I know this was a very vague story sorry because I don't remember a whole lot. Like I said, there was a lot going on in my life at that time. I'm sorry I don't have more details. I'm sorry I can't make more confirmations. And I am extremely sorry I don't have pictures, because I did take pictures myself with a disposable camera throughout that investigation, and those are gone. I have no idea where. I do have an investigation from Goldfield, Nevada that I did take pictures of that I do have. I do have them. So if you want to stay tuned, and please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and also give this video a thumbs up so that way I know you like these paranormal vlogs. You like to hear my ghostly stories, because you're a ghostly monster. Always remember, yin yang is a balance, and the balance lies within yourself. I hope you guys have a fabulous day.